We're live.
All right, welcome to Tuesday afternoon to the Guitar Gear Locker. And yeah, today is live show 63.
Yep.
And I am on my phone because my internet company sucks and they're doing some work, so I have no Wi-Fi. So
Which is
all
where
my
I
phone.
was, what, 6 months ago. I had the same problem. We had to cancel the show.
Yeah.
But it's also a good test because, I mean, if you're on the road, now we know, because it looks like you're on a computer.
Yeah. So we do plan on still continuing doing the show while I'm on the road, and we'll figure that out, like what days and stuff like that that I'll be able to pop on and do the show with Roger. But yeah, this is a good test because I'll be using the phone on the road. So
yeah. And we'll try to give. I mean, you and I talked about it yesterday. We'll try to give like the night before. I'll put out an announcement on Instagram and Facebook and get it set up for the next day.
Yeah.
So we'll try to give everybody it. It'll be kind of cool to see, some of the stuff on the road, and it'll be easier since you're here.
Yeah,
You've been on the
absolutely.
road a long time.
Yeah. I know. It's like I leave tomorrow and I have about 6 weeks. About 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a long run, but a good
We're
one.
going to cover a lot of ground too.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so a week ago, Roger worked on two of my guitars, and we did an episode about it. And one of them being and actually, Jürgen, you are correct. I couldn't remember. Jürgen commented on what the model of that guitar is, and it is an ESP SV V2. So that is the model. So they've been discontinued for like 10 years, something like that, those guitars. But long story short, it has a fixed bridge on there and string through the body. The other guitar is a Floyd guitar, and it's been a few years since I've used fixed bridge with on tour with Immolation, because it's a totally different ball game playing fast and all that, your attack on the instrument compared to Floyd Rose. So for me, it's actually well, Floyd Rose will sit lower, usually sit flat. So when you're playing, you're picking fast. It's a lot more easier in a sense. You don't have to angle certain ways. So playing on the bridge, this has actually been good for me, I think, because it's kind of a bit of a challenge, because you're taking you out of your comfort zone a bit, and how you approach it, your guitar playing or whatever you're trying to play, so, and it has its, pros and cons to things too. I mean, I think tone wise, it obviously sounds more open because you don't have that locking nut, on the guitar, where it's maybe sounds a little bit tighter when you're playing like a bar chord or something like that, adverse to a fixed bridge where you play that open note, it just sounds a little bit more open, if that makes any sense, And you, as a guitar repair person, I don't know how you feel about that.
I think I told you a little. Yeah. So some of it is like, selfishly, when you see, let's say, a Les Paul come in with a fixed bridge on it or a string through the body or whatever, you almost get a little giddy because, well, and I know some people charge more for a Floyd Rose setup, but Floyd Rose, there's more steps to just changing the strings. You have to do more to it. But I mean, how do you find the tuning stability between the two?
I think if you have a solid guitar, I mean, it stays pretty good. I would say it stays as good as a Floyd, but the benefit to the Floyd too is the fine tuners for me. So especially like tuning real quick in between songs or whatever is easier with the fine tuners if it's set up properly,
Right.
and instead of going like this and tuning, but but to each his own too. If you're used to that, then it's probably obviously quicker tuning.
Well, let me expand on my last question. All right, so tuning stability, because I know most of yours have a trim stop in it. So
They all do.
floating Floyd or fixed bridge?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, there's a difference there too. So the tuning stability in a floated, if you will, a Floyd Rose rather than one with a trim stop, because like yours have we talked about this a lot, like when we're messing with your stuff, it's like there's a defined point on either side, you know, where
Mhm.
it locks down at the nut and then where we have it going through and the trim stop in there. So there's a defined point on each side
Mhm.
where, you know, when it's floating, you know, you do a bend. Well, you do a bend, it's gonna float up, but it could go either way, right?
Sure.
So, hey, Jed's with us this week. I hit him in river.
Hey, Jed,
Jed,
what's up, buddy?
and he said, "Interesting to hear that. I've always preferred fixed bridge comfort-wise. I like the angle and when possible, have customs made with a neck angle and a non-recessed trim to get a bit of an angle."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, too, I think when you start playing on I like for the most part, I played guitars since the 80s with Floyd Rose tremolo systems. I had one guitar with a Kahler, which was different too. But I guess it just becomes in your comfort zone too. Like if you're used to
right,
playing, and Jed, you probably start off with maybe I know you're old school Gibson guy and also probably, a lot of those Gibsons and all, but, it depends. I mean, sometimes I get adjusted to it and that's all I want to play. I don't want to play the Floyd.
right.
So, but yeah, it's cool to just bring out something different. Take me out of my comfort zone a little bit as a guitar player, and because you got to find certain sweet spots with that, that you're used to playing with the Floyd. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
Well, let me ask you this, and so, I mean, some of these I know the answers to, so I'm gonna put that up front so people don't eat me up in the comments. So so when you're playing and using a Floyd Rose, you don't usually keep the bar in it.
no,
So
I don't. No, I don't use a bar. Mm-mm. I'm
so
just
then
I'm used to using a Floyd. That's the thing.
right,
It's maybe it's a comfort zone. It's like
okay,
I've been playing guitars with Floyd Roses since I don't know, maybe '87, something like that. So
right.
that's a long time.
So
So
what are if you don't I mean, because I would think if you're playing with, you know, a Floyd, you would want that so you could, you know, do things with the trim bar and things like that, die bombs or so what are
yeah,
the advantages and disadvantages to not using it for that purpose?
yeah. I mean, it would be cool to do some of that. I've done it on records. Some like whammy bar stuff, and then I think when I toured with Master, the few tours, because there's a lot of whammy bar stuff that he had
Yeah,
on his records for the solos and stuff. So I kind of like I remember he was like, bring the whammy bar out and yeah, that was fun to do that. But I
yeah,
think also with Floyd Rose tremolos, they, you know, especially if you have it floating, they're not really designed for down tuning.
okay,
So at least in my experience, with a floating tremolo Floyd tuned down, they they get out of whack a little easier than say you're tuned to E standard or something like that.
okay,
But I could be wrong,
yeah,
but I think it's just something to do with the way they're designed.
yeah,
Because if you're going off on the bar like you're in Slayer or Morbid Angel or something like that, you're just going total ape shit,
yeah,
on the bar with a Floyd. Like Slayer had the Kalars, and it seems like those tremolos um work a little bit better maybe, with that. Because I know you can go the Kalars, you can kind of go up and down
yeah.
and all that. Pull back,
You can also lock them now. You
yeah,
know, the
yeah,
older ones you couldn't, the newer ones you can.
yeah.
Let me get to a couple comments, not to interrupt. Hey, man, he's got his tickets for the San Francisco show next
Oh,
Wednesday.
nice. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll be there. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to be there. In a week or so, something like that. Gibson V and the Kahler. Oh wow, Jed, did you have one of those? speaking of the Gibson V with the Kahler, I think it was in like maybe like around 85-ish. They put out those different Vs with the Kahlers. I'm just curious if you had one of those guitars, or maybe you still have one of them.
Especially
Yeah.
I've been late on. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Cheech, what's up, man? Let's see. Online float. I guess it takes awareness of where you are. I never know where I am. How you pressurize on the trim. Yeah, because I guess it maybe if you if it's floating and you're palm muting and you have too much pressure, you can screw with the notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Flush mount on is 85.
Yeah. 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 Kahlers, I still don't have a definite opinion on because it's been so long since I played one of those guitars. So, what's your feelings on Kahler, Roger?
You know what? I installed somebody had a guitar that they had an older one on and they wanted a newer one on it. And the newer one seemed pretty solid. But I've got older ones in here that are good too. I've had one that was one of the really old ones. It seemed a little wonky. I forget what year it was. It's been a while. I see a lot of Floyds. I see a few Kahlers, but not much.
Yeah, yeah.
It just seems like I guess when people see FU Tone on my webpage, they just bring me Floyds.
FU Tone, you need to make upgrades for Kahler. One cool thing about Kahlers is you don't take all that wood out of the back of the guitar, which is
true.
Cool.
Well, and remember, we were thinking about having them on, but it never happened. I had one that, what was it? The Kahler Killer came in here on an old Carvin. That was a cool. So if I remember correctly, the Kahler Killer, if you have the trem bar backwards or forwards, then it would float. But if you had it hanging down on a 90, it would lock it. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But when I talked to the guys at Kahler, they said that what was it? They couldn't really make it like mass produce it anymore because it was so expensive. Because it was good engineering.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? That was a Kahler. The weird.
They are weird to me. Yeah.
I agree. I don't know why it seems that Floyd's. I guess because I see so many.
You should see my typing, Jed. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You're doing great. Keep it up. Jeez. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, staying on that subject. I just tried to write down some different. So what about Floyd's with thicker strings versus thin strings?
I don't know. I mean, I use thick strings, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have any guitars with a thinner gain string with the Floyds. The other guitars that I have in E or there's no Floyd on the guitar, so it's like a Fender or something, Fender Strat bridge, But
do you feel like, and you said some of this already, but do you feel like a fixed bridge or a Floyd makes you play differently?
Absolutely, totally.
How so?
Yeah.
I want everybody to know. Look, I came prepared. I got some good questions here.
I mean, at least for me, if a Floyd is just a little bit, it's just easier, to achieve what you're trying to go for or whatever, as far as being fluent or whatever, if that makes any sense. The fixed bridge, though, you got to really kind of attack it differently, I think. So I don't know. I don't know. Just for me, it's just at least lately since I got that guitar back, it's been a bit of a challenge. It's just the way I approach playing certain parts of songs and things like that.
Right.
And not necessarily good or bad. It's just a different approach, to how you kind of place your hand, you know, on the instrument. You know, sometimes you got to lay in more, you got to lay back, you know. But for me, it's been a cool challenge. We'll see how my shoulder holds up
Right.
for the next, if it stays my number one instrument or not. But
Well, and that doesn't
yeah,
necessarily have, just to clarify for everybody watching, that has nothing to do with the bridge. That's the weight of the guitar.
weight of the
Right.
guitar. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so you know, but yeah, it's been cool to kind of play the fast aggressive stuff on a fixed bridge, you know.
Yeah.
So I
So,
mean, you know, here's a guy that played like super fast, that played fixed bridges, and that was I can't remember his last name, but Mike, the guitar player of Rigor Mortis from Texas that played in Ministry. Man, that guy is just fucking fast as hell, you know, and just
right.
like he had a nickname too because he was just so fast, his
Right.
picking style.
Yeah.
But you know, because I know a lot of people would say, "Oh, you can't pick fast. You can't pick as fast on a fixed bridge." Well, watch that guy. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I,
Jed said spring upgrades. I'm big on upgrading to the noiseless springs. So, and there's different tensions in those also.
yeah.
Um, I almost never. So if somebody's coming in and doing Floyd Rose, Evertune blocks and things like that, I almost try to get them to put springs in Evertune springs,
Mhm.
because they're noiseless. And really, it's funny because one of the reviews I saw with the Jackson I bought, the guy that was playing it was complaining a lot about the springs. But usually, if I have one, I throw a titanium block on it anyways, and because I had one, I've been dying to put it on something,
Yeah.
and then I upgraded the spring. So I know on a PRS, that's a thing with them is chattery springs.
Mm.
So let's see where spring
Depends
upgrades. Chad.
depends on what you're going for, you know. So
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, except when recording. So
mm,
now
yeah,
recording Evertune or fixed bridge.
I've done a lot of recording on my one guitar with an Evertune, and man, that thing worked out fantastic, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, but yeah, recording. You know, actually, Acts of God record I recorded on a fixed bridge. All the rhythm guitars, you know, are done with that. Actually, a lot of stuff I've done with the fixed bridge. I've done with the Evertune guitar in the last few years. A lot of like rhythm stuff, you know, with that.
Right.
But I definitely do like, you know, like I said, when you hit those open chords and stuff like that, it's just bigger sounding, I think, with fixed bridge, you know,
Right.
compared.
So let's go over maintenance
Oops.
and where'd he go?
Oh, am I back?
Whatever you push, don't
Yeah,
push that anymore.
I got I got zillion text messages and things coming through my phone, so bear with me.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just trying to like, all right,
I don't know you text,
get
but you
out of
went
here.
away. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to figure out things to say, which
Yeah,
I'm talkative, so I can do that. So like maintenance, string changes. Oh, what's your thoughts on that?
changing strings on a fixed bridge. Oh wow, that's heaven, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the one for me is intonation. So it
Oh,
is
intonation
like
too.
every other
Oh,
bridge out
absolutely.
there is easier than a Floyd.
Yep,
You know,
for
it
sure.
I mean, they're not that bad. They're just more. It's
Yeah,
just more stuff to do.
yeah.
Um, which, we've talked about the way I string them anyways, which is pretty unorthodox. I just yank the springs off of it and pull the whole thing out, set it in front of me on the table, string it up, and then pop it back in.
Hmm.
And yeah, you've seen me. I don't think it takes any. I think it's faster to do it that way. My opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you've seen it both ways. What do you think?
you're definitely faster than me, but you got your thing down, you know. So
Yeah, well, I
yeah.
guess, yeah, repetition, but I think for me, if you start going like, okay, well, I'm gonna block it, and then so I'm OCD. We've discussed that before. I'm gonna try to use this wrench in here, the Allen wrench, and not screw up their finish, so I don't own their finish.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot for me. It's just like pull it out, get it away from it, throw the strings in it, throw it back in, attach the
Mhm.
strings, and rock on. So so here's the other thing. So when you go to a guitar tech, typically guitar techs charge more for a Floyd Rose. What's our thoughts on that?
Mhm.
I don't, because I'm dumb.
I I guess it makes sense because it's more work, it's
It
more work.
is.
So I
Yeah.
would say that makes sense,
Yeah.
to
Well,
charge
and
more.
truth be told, I'll tell the truth why I don't. For me, it's not. Yeah, it's a little bit more work, but it's not that big of a deal. The other thing I usually forget, like when we're billing things out, I forget. So it's like
You hear
whatever.
that, everybody? All you Floyd Rose players, go to Roger because
They
he
do.
charges
They
the
do.
same
I don't care.
price.
I just don't think it's that big of a deal for me the way I do it. It's a couple extra steps, but not. I mean, I'm not charging by the hour anyways, typically. So,
Yeah.
let's see. Voids are forever. Definitely bigger sounding on a fixed. Yeah. So we'll expand on the fixed thing. Intonation. Yep. You
Mhm.
guys do. I don't. So it's funny. I'll tell it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. So I've seen that, and I mean, you've seen the way I do it. It's doing intonation the way I do it has to be 500 million times harder than using that tool. But every
Mhm.
time I'm making an order, I forget to order that tool. And
Right.
it's funny Jed said that because it was just the other day. I saw one on the internet and I showed it to my wife. I was like, this is the thing you need to remind me to order next time I'm making a tool order because it has to make it easier than what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
like it's what I'm doing is basically like naked Crisco twister with a guitar.
Whatever works,
It's a
you know?
mess. It works. Like I get it there. It works. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's
Mhm.
stupid. I'm sure I look worse than I normally do. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so he has one, but he rarely uses it. So does it work well? One of the tools, I'm assuming, Jed said.
Yeah, I'm curious about it too.
And that's why I think at first, when I first started doing this, I said, okay, I have a weird way that I put an Allen wrench in there and I hold tension on it and use my fingers, which is hard on your fingers. But I have bricklayer hands, so it doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. But then when I watched that tool a couple of times, I was like, God, it looks like there's more to that. And just like in the time it takes to hook that up, maybe I could just
Mhm.
have it done is my way of thinking. But I'm probably getting to the point where I need to order one.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about on gigs? I mean, you're getting ready to go on tour.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute, Jenny. That's when you got years of doing it the regular way. See,
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah. And since I've been doing this, there's been a couple times where I had a way that I did something and it worked for me for a long time. And I was like, yeah, by the time that I learn the other way, it's just more steps and just easier to keep doing it this way. Then you get it, you get comfortable with it. It's like, okay, I should have been doing this the whole time. So I'm sure this is going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Let's see what else that I have for you on this. All right, so now, well, let's start with fixed. So there's a definite difference with fixed bridges. Let's just say Les Paul style bridges. When I take them off of a guitar and it runs the gamut, and I like some of them when especially the tailpiece, you take it off and it is like feather light, and then some are heavy. And
Mhm.
even on older guitars, it kind of runs the gamut. Some are light, some are heavy. I have on my Les Paul, my '90s studio, I put the Evertune brass one on it. It's chrome, but it underneath it's brass,
Mhm.
which I thought was a good upgrade. And I've done that to a couple customer guitars. Sometimes they say that it does resonate more, definitely more. but they've had to adjust the settings on their rig to accommodate for that. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, and every guitar is different anyway, regardless of the brass on the bridge. I am curious about that though. I'd like to try
Yeah.
one of them out actually. I think I may have had this question too before in regards to the FU tone brass bridges. Like this guitar is Godo,
Uh-huh.
you know. So from what my understanding is, the Godo is sits differently than a Tone Pros bridge.
Okay.
So is the FU tone compatible
So
to Godo's?
theirs are like two. So they have the ABR1 and the Nashville, the two that you see most out of those. And every one I've done so far, they're just like a direct drop in. They were the last one I did have to do a little bit of extra on it, but it went right in, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the other thing that I notice, and so occasionally I'll have somebody come in with a guitar and it'll start with me because I'm nuts about hearing rattles and buzzes and all that. And you'll think something is, on the frets, like, oh my God, must be a high fret, must be this. Some of those bridges, the Les Paul ABR1 in Nashville, some of them just rattle and vibrate, and there's a spring in it. There's little washers in it. There's a lot of little moving parts in those bridges that make noise. So, and most are okay, but some are pretty noisy to the point where it bugs people.
Yeah.
So, especially if they're playing unplugged, it'll drive them nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing. So on Floyd Roses now, so and I guess the moral to the story on that is like sometimes when I'm taking a tailpiece off, I'm surprised at how feather light that metal is. Like it's just super. It doesn't even weigh a pound. I wouldn't imagine.
Okay.
FU tones do. I mean, what my thing. If Adam ever watches these, which I wouldn't assume he does, because he's a busy man, he would make black. I just want to make black.
So he makes gold and chrome. Is that correct?
Gold and chrome.
Yeah. Now I think I saw is it Slash is using them too now. The FU tone bridges, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about them. I love the FU tone stuff. So
yeah,
I'm a believer. That I hear the difference. When you put the blocks in and some of the other replacement parts, I definitely hear the difference in the guitar, and it makes it sound better. At least for me, it depends on preference.
Sometimes you wonder. Okay, is this just me? So recently, I had a Les Paul in here, and I had another customer guitar in here that had one of the FU tone bridges on it. Mine had it. The guy with the Les Paul said, he said, well, why does this one sound different? And I was like, you want to say, like, I didn't tell him, like, well, it's probably because it has a different, I upgraded the bridge on it. So then we were able to do, I don't have these all the time. So I had, his guitar was very similar to another guitar that was in here. So I said, actually, I take that back. So it was a custom Les Paul. So it was similar to my R0, which I don't have the bridge on my R0. So I had him play that one, and I had him play the other custom that had one of the FU tone bridges, and he immediately heard it. And I didn't say anything. I just said, play this one, tell me which one. As soon as he strummed the chord, he said, oh yeah, this is way better than mine.
Yeah.
No, but I said sometimes I get caught up into, well, I don't want something shiny on my 2000s. Like it's kind of aged gracefully, so I don't want a big shiny beacon chrome thing on there.
Yeah.
So I don't have one on mine, but this one did. So he heard it. So there has to be something to it, because I think I hear it without telling him he heard it. So yeah. So then you get into Floyds now. You have Floyd 1000, 1500, original Floyd, American Floyd, which I haven't seen one of those yet. What's your thoughts on those?
Um,
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get. I'm sorry. Let me not to interrupt you. Let me. Jed. Oh, there's that one, and yeah, it is really noticeable. All right, sorry. I saw that pop up in the corner of my eye.
what was the question again?
So the different Floyds, 1000, 1500, American,
Oh,
German,
do I
old, new.
yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously the German, the US, I think it's kind of like a guitar. Like, when you feel a guitar that's just more well built and you kind of feel the quality, if that makes any sense. Um, so yeah, I think the German and the US ones, because I have old US ones as well from old guitars, but the Floyds, yeah, I guess they're a little bit more durable. But I mean, those what is it, the 1000 series or whatever? They're not. They're good too.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it it's not like it's like some huge difference, I guess.
right.
But I would say the Germans are definitely more durable or whatever. Uh,
Well, if you get, so let me expand on that one. So if you get any Floyd, and then you upgrade it like we both do, does it matter at all then?
yeah, I mean, like for instance, I have two LTD arrows. One has a German Floyd, one has a 1000 series Floyd on it. And the guitar with the German Floyd sounds a little bit better. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Floyd,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah. So I
yeah.
mean, but I just think that the German Floyds and the I don't have any experience with the new US Floyds,
Yeah.
but at least the old ones are just very solid
Right. The one
built.
on that Jackson's a 1500. I think it's good. Staying in
Yeah,
tune, great.
yeah.
And I have that. So that's, I think I had two that are floating. I have that one floating and it's doing fine.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So, friend
You
has a
could always
great,
upgrade the parts too. You want to put better fine
yeah.
tuners, whatever, it's like
So I put posts on it just because I had them here from another guitar that I had them on. I put posts on it, inserts. It already had stainless on it and a titanium block. So
mhm.
let's see. A friend is a BC Rich collector and builder, and he swears by Kahler trims. Yeah, they're good. I had him install one on my Ironbird, but definitely prefer Floyd's. I like the feeling of the spring tension by comparison. Yeah, I I think the guys at Kayla do a good job. They're well engineered, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I you know, I always like the look better of the Floyd over the Kalar too.
I
I
think
mean,
that's some of it with me
looks
too.
is not playability or whatever, but let's face it. And when a guitar looks cool to you, inspires you a bit more too.
Yeah,
And I always kind of like the look of it. I don't know whether it was seeing Eddie Van Halen with the Floyd as a kid, or I'm trying to think
yeah,
who else was one of the early guys like players. Brad Gillis. I think he's
yeah.
another guy who's probably one of the early Floyd guys. But yeah, I always like the way they look. I always thought they looked cool.
Maybe we need, when you get back, we need to get the guy. They were very nice when I talked to them, and they were going to be on, but then
Yeah,
we just never made it
that would,
happen. Maybe we'll get them on
yeah,
and
let's get
talk
them
more
on.
about
That'd be
them.
great. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Shredwire agreed. German OGs are my fave. US ones are good. I'd like to see one of those. I was hoping that my Jackson came in with one, but
Yeah, I'm surprised that
maybe.
that guitar is made with
Yes, because it's another one. Remember when I bought the Reverend, they said it was something that it wasn't. And then when I saw the reviews on the Jackson, they said this is a real German Floyd. And when it came in, it was a 1500.
oh, so Jed says he has a FU trim system, which I do as well. Replaced
Yeah.
on my
Oh,
Maverick, actually. Yeah,
yeah.
we've replaced because I still have the old Floyd that was on there, but it's just been so damaged over the years,
Yeah.
but the Evertune system's great. Yeah.
Hey, Christoph's with us. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey.
Let's see. Looks like you agreed 100%. Yeah, he does.
Jed's got some amazing guitars. Yes, he does.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, did we beat this dead horse about bridges enough? What else?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see if I had. That was a good subject. You came up with that like yesterday on the fly.
I've got a guitar that I cannot, and I know if I say to my wife like, oh, I want to buy this guitar, but can write it off, taxes. So I got my eye on a
More
guitar.
people should be doing that.
Yeah.
So there's twofold. That's you should be writing this stuff, especially if it's a business expense for you guys that are performing out.
Yeah.
Should be a business expense. So it helps you with that. And if you tell your wife it's a business expense, it helps you with that.
Not much money, $2,000. Use guitar.
Yeah. Well, I told you while you're gone, I may have to slip to that place. I may have to slip them an anonymous message and tell them you're looking.
And by the way, folks, every week Roger will tell me he's never buying another guitar, and then
I didn't buy one this week.
I'll talk to him a couple days later, like, well, I actually I pulled the trigger on this thing. I saw it, and I said, so. But I got my eyes on a couple guitars, but there's one used guitar that I saw that I'm just like, oh man, that looks sweet. I got to get one of those. So
I looked at it last night. It looks good.
So my phone,
and you know what? Jane approved.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is the guitar Alex is leaning over, and she goes, that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, you looked at it. You found it. Huh?
Yeah. It took me a while of scroll. We're not going to say what it is. We don't want somebody to type it. I went on and looked at it. The thing is, like, when you get old and you can't remember anything, she goes, I said, yeah, he's looking at something. And what kind is it? I was like, yeah, I don't remember. So then then it was like, well, let me look it up so I can remember what it was. Totally remembered after I saw it.
Yeah. It doesn't look like something I play, right? It looks like.
No, now knowing you, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had so somebody was in here the other day and they were talking about I told it that custom guitar. I told him that you liked his guitar. And that was a work of art. And we were talking, I was like, so guess which one of mine he likes? And he goes, probably the Strat. I was like, how the hell did you guess that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Let's
see. It looks like a Floyd. I can't get this one up there. Do a business episode. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
A business episode.
How to go broke.
Oh yeah, you don't want me to do a business one. That's funny because that's one thing. When people come in here, they look at my stuff and they're like, holy cow, you have a lot of stuff. And I don't. Like, by comparison, I don't have. There's a lot of guys out there with a lot more stuff. But what they don't realize is probably, what do you think? 5 or 6 of mine are just for things. They're either demos to demo things. I have one to demo Fishman's and, stuff that's on that, the GrafTech Unlock Nut. So some of, like, when I go through and go like, man, I need to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, but you got some. You got a handful or more of some real magical instruments, like top-notch guitars. So
like that $300 Strat.
Yeah. Yes, that guitar, is amazing.
Yeah,
and it's so funny because my friend Joe, who saw that guitar, he was saying the same. He brought that up to me about that guitar, that Fender Strat, and was like, man, that guitar is amazing. And I was like, yeah, and the pickups too, which, by the way, plug or Roger's pickups that he wires, which I just, man, those
my
pickups,
metal single coils.
they are like the perfect single coils for me, at least. very high, you know.
Yeah, they're just funny.
Yeah,
Every time I play it, I just laugh. It's just funny because it sounds so stratty up front, and then on the backside is just gnarly.
Yngwie Malmsteen, Rogers.
No, they're way better than him. Amateur. All right. Oh no, no. Yeah, man, I wish I could do another one of those BC Rich deals. Like those don't fall in your lap all the time. You ever had any trouble with Evertunes? You know, well, wait a minute. See, stocks. I'm assuming there's an annoying ringing around.
Ring around the east
They
side.
weren't. You know, so you know the example. I think Evertune support is very helpful. As a matter of fact, because you had one that was stripped out, like one of the. That's what I don't like about them. Like they're, man, great engineering on those too. But if you strip out one of those hex heads, it's not like you can just like, hey, can you send me a new one?
Yeah,
It's a whole module, but it wasn't expensive. That's been a few years ago. It wasn't expensive. And maybe that's something that you need to do, Christoph, is reach out to them. Maybe you have a bad. So when I say module, they're modularized. Like every string has an entire module to it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something where you can just swap out that module. Maybe there's a bad component within that.
Yeah.
So they were super helpful. Yeah, they had it here within a couple days too. So I like dealing with them. There's a couple companies that are really good to deal with. Fender's not one.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, is that what you were talking about with the business?
Jed, I learn stuff every day. I learn more in regards to that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I start hearing more people coming in here talking about that, which is good. So, because you know what, there's rich people out there that are writing off all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So, and we're paying for it. So, everybody should consider themselves a business that are outperforming. Do it legally, but no, it's not single coil magic. It's just like wrapping a whole ton of wire around. You do that on a sewing machine. They suggested it comes from everything except the bridge. No answer since I sent the video. Send it to me. You have my email address. I'm curious. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a complete expert with Evertunes, but I can get around them. So I'm curious to see. Let's talk offline so we don't slander them. But yeah, just send me the video, if you will, and then tell me what they think it is. So we'll see if we can figure out. I thought they were great to deal with. Let's see. We're at 40. We have a few more minutes. I mean, what do you have to do? Get ready for a tour or something?
Yeah.
All right. So I came up with a couple just that I thought would be fun. Maybe they won't. I don't know. So who is, and I have a couple ones, but we'll start with this one. Who is the most iconic Telecaster player and Strat player?
Iconic. Well, first one, the Strat player, I'm going to go with Hendrix, you know.
Okay.
Telecaster, I don't know, Keith Richards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and
that's my choices right there.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on the Telecaster. I would almost go, I don't know. I'd have to go with I mean, it has to be Hendrix, right? But that's the obvious. So I think I would almost go like Mark Knopfler or Eric Clapton. Right? Just to be different.
If you think about Clapton in the early days, he didn't play a Strat, you know, in the 60s and the early 70s. Yeah.
I didn't say when.
I mean, you could say that about Jeff Beck too, you know, because Jeff Beck was playing like, you know, Les Paul, Telecaster and stuff back in the day, and then he switched to the Strat. Right. I'm trying to think of another good Strat. What's his name?
Here we go. Let's throw the comments. So, and I'll throw mine in real quick. So for Telecaster,
Robin Trower. How about Robin Trower?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, Hendrix hands down. So for the record, I agree, but I just wanted to be a little different. Everybody can just say Hendrix.
I mean, you could
Townsend
say
on
that
Telly.
about Eddie Van Halen too. Townsend. Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, so and this is why I kind of stayed away from an era because Telecaster, if you go on like one of the most iconic albums, I think, is Jimmy Page was a Telecaster.
Yeah.
Led
Listen to that
Zeppelin in the
tone.
beginning.
Listen to that tone on that first Zeppelin
Yeah.
record. I'm not sure if he plays it on the second record or not, but man, that first album, man,
This is
that
the
guitar
first.
tone is insane, you know.
So, all right. So, who's the most iconic Les Paul player other than Les Paul?
Slash.
You know, that's funny. That's who I thought that too.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it, that guy kind of
Oh, here you
brought
go.
back the popularity of the Les Paul. Ace.
Ace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Ace.
he is. But I think like Slash is
Wait, I'm
more
wearing the shirt.
not that he's recent, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's looking at your shirt. He cheated.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
Ace. Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page.
yeah, so Jimmy Page, I mean that's why you know at first when you say Telecaster only because of the beginning of Led Zeppelin, but then
Ronnie Montrose, another Les
yeah,
Paul.
yeah, I mean there's a lot of Les Paul players out there.
Yeah.
Let's see, most iconic V player.
Oh, come on.
Jed said you have the shirt. But Jed, that's why I said you were cheating.
Veep. Wow. I mean, Schenker, KK Downing.
Yeah, KK.
Trying to think of else. Wolf Hoffman.
Alex Books, right?
I'm a V guy, but I play other stuff too, you know. So, yeah, KK. Yep, damn right. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Like I'm just trying to like strictly V, you know, like yeah, KK Downing, Schenker. I don't know. Wolf Hoffman.
Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley, yeah. Paul Stanley. Yeah, he played the what was that Japanese guitar?
Shankers.
Yep, Bowshanker, that's right. Forgot about Rudolph.
Yeah.
Who's a guitar player from Wishbone Ash? Can't think of his name right now. He's another iconic V player. Yeah, I mean, you can go back and forth with Hetfield. You could say Explorer, but he's kind of started off more as a V guy and kind of went back to it.
So Explorer, you would
Michael Denner. Michael Denner.
Okay.
Fate.
Yeah.
Who else?
Vinnie Vincent.
Vinnie Vincent. That is true.
Oh, Papa Het.
Yep. Hetfield. Yeah. Albert King. Yeah, Albert King played.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's weird because I was gonna do I don't know why I had Albert King with because it looks odd that he's playing the blues on a V to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of them and I was like, no, but that would be like a semi-hollow 335. But I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to like at first I didn't realize that we were going to talk so much. It was cool to talk that much, but I didn't think we could make Floyds and Hardtails go that long. So I had some extra things to talk about. I was just coming up with these. I was like, what would be cool?
Yeah, that's fun. This is fun stuff here.
Yeah, this or that.
Like
This or that.
Yeah. What's the next one? What's the next shape?
The next shape. Well, I said Explorer.
Oh, you did say Explorer. So Explorer, Albert Collins.
Rick Nielsen.
Oh, Rick Nielsen. Yeah. Rick Nielsen. Yeah. Albert Collins. Hetfield, obviously. Let's see who else. Another. What's his name from now Leonard Skinner from Jesus.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that next.
What's his name? escapes me right now. Oh
Hey,
my
Jed, we have
goodness.
a local guy that has one of Rick Nielsen's guitars that comes in here as a Hanger Explorer. So,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
yeah,
You worked on that thing.
there's writing all down the front of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
all right. So here, oh, this will be good for
Jed
you.
Jed Simon. He's an Explorer
Oh yeah,
player
Jed.
too.
Yeah.
He's got a
So SG. Oh,
SG.
that's
Oh
a
man,
no-brainer.
come on, Angus,
Yeah.
Tony. Robbie Krieger,
Yeah.
Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Uh, what do you call it again? Glenn Buxton and what's his name from Alice Cooper band?
Yeah.
Glenn Buxton and what's his name? Oh my God. I'll tell you, I'm not awake yet still.
I don't know, man. You were just like free flowing there for a second.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, SG players, yeah. I love SGs. I'm a big, big SG guy. Love them,
Yeah,
So,
I'm okay with them.
yeah.
All right, let's see. I don't know. So I texted you the other night, and I don't know if you're big on this band. Rush has an upcoming tour with a new drummer. What do you think? Are you a Rush fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I love Rush.
Because
Mhm.
I sent you a text and I was like, Rush on this date. You were like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I was probably
You were
get,
probably busy.
probably getting tortured by a 4-year-old at that time. But
So
yeah, I
what's your
heard that.
thoughts
I heard
on
that.
them? Did you hear yesterday? I heard it on the
No,
radio yesterday.
I'd love to go. I've never seen Rush, so
I think that would be
I would
cool.
love to go.
Yep, Jed, full support. Yeah, man. So
Mhm.
here's the thing. I don't know if everybody heard it. So they took a little
And
heat.
and another band is actually out on tour from your neck of the woods, Jed, Triumph. So
Oh,
they got a reunion tour going on.
yeah.
Rick Emmett, the guy famous for playing the Yamaha guitar. That
Yeah.
I can't think of that model. We talked about that model recently, that Yamaha model.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Rick Emmett used to play those guitars. That's probably the first time I saw those
Yeah.
Yamahas
Yeah.
that he played.
Well, let's back up the Rush again. So a couple things. So this week, did you see that people were giving them shit for calling themselves Rush?
Whatever.
Did you
People give everybody shit for
did you
anything.
see what Geddy Lee said? Like, what are we gonna do? Call ourselves Iron Maiden?
Yeah, yeah,
What do you think of them going out with a new drummer? I don't mind it. I think it's good.
yeah. I mean, keep the music alive. Let go out, have
Yeah.
some fun.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see. Yummies.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I know. It's funny, Jed. We actually had one of those guitars because I saw you use one, and we spoke about it on the podcast probably months ago. It was probably a
Oh,
whole
Pacifica?
no, no.
Oh,
It's
the
kind of like
earlier
it's got the
one.
two horns like an SG
Yep.
kind of, but it's very
Yeah.
thick body like a Les Paul.
I
What
would look it
is
up, but my screen will freeze, you said.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Every
on my
time I look
phone.
something up, my
I have
screen
no
freezes.
I have no internet.
Yeah. Your
So,
phone is doing really well, by the way.
oh, that's good. Well, it's good to
Yeah,
know
I'm
because
glad to see that.
I'll be using it on tour. So,
All right,
it'll be good
so
to tell.
here's my next. What's everybody thinking? God, it skipped way down. What's everybody's thought on clip-on and tuners? You know mine.
All right. It's cool to have backstage, but when you're on stage, it kind of looks retarded.
Right, right. So you know what? I was gonna bring them in here because Jed said no. All
Yeah,
right. So under no circumstances, like if you're tuning up at home, do you use a clip-on tuner?
at home though.
Jed said
Backstage, yes.
no, 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 no. That's what he said.
Things are the worst
Oh.
anyway. They're the worst.
So, well, for me, I use usually I use this guy, the strobe.
Yeah.
That's what I use in here, and then I do the clip one that I like the most because keep in mind, a lot of people use clip ons, so I have to. if I tell them it's completely right, their guitar is completely right with a strobe, and then they look at their snark and it's not, then I have to get somewhere close on both, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was just curious. I saw it on something this week, and snark has gone down the tubes, in my opinion. Remember, I wrote them and I told them how bad my snarks were, and they
Mhm.
sent me 2 more snarks that were different, and they're worse.
Yeah.
They're they're worse, and they're a pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah.
TC, yes. So the Peterson, we'll talk about those in a second, but TC, I think, was ranked the highest. Peterson is one of those things it took me a while to get used to because of the little spinny wheel. So, and you don't like my Petersons much, the strobe tuners. It's handy, but when I want, yeah, you need that when you're going for precision. But like I said, yeah, strobe. Jed likes the strobes also. I'm a big fan of the strobe. Took me a while to get used to it, but now even the strobe clip ones are actually pretty close. So I like those. They're bad. What, like behind me? This is bass week for some reason. I've had a lot of basses in here. So sometimes they work on vibration. So on a bass, sometimes they're so far down they don't pick it up. So, and I think you saw me, like, sometimes you have to hit the harmonic on the 12 on the lower strings to get anything. So,
Yeah.
oh, let's see that. I had another one that was really good. What was it? Hold on. Oh, here it is. My last question.
Oh boy, here he comes.
Is guitar culture stuck in the past?
Guitar culture.
That's a good question. Jed?
I don't know. Somebody?
I swear, I think it is. Especially a certain age range.
Yeah.
It says, "Well, I am." Yeah, I mean, first off, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, and we've talked about that because there are music stores that haven't picked up on new trends. You know,
Yeah.
there are music stores, and I'm not talking about this locality, I'm talking in no matter where you go in them, and you could tell there's, like, our age group or older that own the store, and they're still selling shit from the '80s. So, and nothing new, not Fishman. It's like, "Oh, I don't want Fishman, I want EMGs."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's a certain amount. Well, I
Sure.
just said it, I don't wanna put a chrome bridge on my Les Paul.
Well, there's guys that I know that just want to play Fender and Gibsons, and and that's it. They're just like, ooh, Jackson, Charvel, oh, ESP, oh, keep that
Yeah,
away from me. What is that stuff? That's some crazy stuff.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's really weird too, if you look at people's guitar collections, like, it seems to, like, it's either one or the other. They either have 20 of the same guitars, or they have 2 main guitars, a Fender and a Strat, or
Mhm.
they're all metal guitars, or they're me. You have to admit, I'm a hodgepodge. I'm a
Yeah,
mutt.
yeah. You got a cool, diverse collection of
Yeah, diversity is my collection.
great guitarists.
Best-selling guitar models are from 70 years ago. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you figure, like, what's the next body style? So,
Yeah, that's
there
an interesting question. What is the most popular modernized body style out there today?
oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I guess when I think about it, I'm old school, but I like pointy things.
Yeah. Me too. It's like I kind of like that that balance between those two worlds, old and new, a little bit. You know, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense, Jed. I think that's where you're, because you're like, I like this, but I like pointy things too. So, you know,
The Super Strat.
if it gets too far too far extreme, then you lost me. You know, with like the pointiness, and I like pointy stuff, but once it gets too far crazy, I'm just like, yes, balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, in my opinion, I don't like this, and I know people love them. The BC Riches with that big headstock. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah. Well, and some of it, so I mean,
Or
some of it is,
the Dean headstock. I can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of it is like I'm trying to fit it back here, and I'm trying not to rip the headstock off with everything that's on the bench also.
Yeah.
Let's see. My signature guitar, it's a ukulele. Oh my god. I was gonna there's somebody locally here on Facebook Marketplace that has a Taylor Swift guitar on it. And I was gonna post that on the 3 Alarm social
Right.
media and say, "Best guitar ever made," and see what people said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so what is the, I mean, do you see the Clio taking off? Do you see it being here in 20 years?
I don't know.
The Kaizen, the Clio, um,
Yeah, I don't know.
do you see in 20 years from now, do you see headstocks disappearing?
I hope not, because I won't be playing them. That's for sure.
You know, it's funny. So here's one of the challenges is, you know, we've gotten now to the body shapes you can kind of copy, but the headstocks you can't. So it's hard to come up with a different headstock. It's hard to
Yeah,
be creative and come up with a headstock.
sure.
So there's this guy I met. He's a local builder. He's building out of Richmond, and he and I were talking, and I said, "So have you ever like?" I said that if you want to get into the metal community, they're not going to accept the headless guitar. I don't think. Have you ever thought of a? He makes all headless. I think I said that. So have you ever thought of doing one with a headstock? And he goes, you know, the first thing when you're building with somebody else, and he had the same problem when he was learning, is that person will say, "All right, I want a body shape," and then create a headstock. And he was like, I couldn't figure one out, so I said I'd go headless.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, touche.
yeah.
Let's see. Socks or make it or break. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that White Jackson guitar. Ooh, boy. Solar looks very modernized guitar. Yeah, you know what? I wish one would come in here that was a higher quality one. So just like there's a lot of hype. They look like good guitars, but the one I had felt a little plasticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely needed some work. All right, what else you got? Or you want to bring it to a close? You got to get packing. We've been an
Yeah.
hour. No, we've been an
Yeah,
hour.
I got. Oh yeah. I thought you said I have an hour. I was like,
No,
oh,
no, no. Well, you have
Yeah.
a few hours, but not many. You got to get crack-a-lacking.
yeah. I got to meet everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Then we'll see what we do next week, and
Yep. Yeah.
hopefully we'll be on the road somewhere. And
Yep. Yeah, we'll
yeah.
figure that out. And but I'll definitely be here. So now we know my
Yeah.
phone works too with this. So
Yeah. This was a good test.
Yep.
Been on the tour. At least you'll have signal
Thank
in.
you.
Yeah, we're hoping. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thanks
All right,
thanks for chatting up with us, and
Yep.
go back to work.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, and like and subscribe, please.
Absolutely.
And
All right,
share.
take care, everybody.
Thank you guys. All right.